Hi everybody, I'm Natalie with Missouri Star Quilt Company, and today on Embroidery 101 we're going to learn the bullion knot. Now this stitch is very pretty, it looks a little complicated and it can be tricky, so you've got to take your time. It is beautiful though, I promise you're going to love it. It's similar to the French knot, but you wrap the thread around your needle a lot more times and you stretch it out so it kind of looks like a little worm or caterpillar. It's kind of cool. All right, so we've got a knot in our thread. We're gonna pull up from the back. You'll go as far as you want your knot to be and go all the way down. Then you leave some thread on top. Bring your needle back in near the stitch that you just started with. So you're coming up right next to it. It can be next to it, in front of it, behind it, either way. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna wrap the thread around your needle. You want to keep it sort of stacked on itself. You can push it down, but you do this as many times as it takes to cover the length of your stitch. So I don't know if you can see that. We'll do a couple here and then we'll get our good close-up so you can see it. So I'm going to wrap this around and then I'm going to push it down and pull my needle through so that all of these little stitches stay in a nice straight line. It helps so much if the eye of your needle is the same width as your needle. So you don't want one of those needles that has an eye that is fatter than the needle itself. All right, so get a good look at this. So see how it's now pretty close. You can use your needle or a fingernail to push those stitches down so that it just covers the length of your stitch, and then you put your needle back through to secure it. So just like that, you've got a little bullion knot. So let's do another one. So we'll come up from behind the fabric, go back in the length of the knot you want to make. These are really great on leaves as texture builders. All right, so we're going to come right back up next to the thread, the first one that we put in that's nice and secure. The one that is loose, that's the one that you're going to secure the end with. All right, we're gonna wrap this around as many times as it takes to cover the length that we're going for. If you want your bullion knot to be really lumpy and loose so that it kind of curves and creates texture, you can make the knot longer than the length of your stitch. So if you add to it, that makes it a little bit lumpier. All right, so you want to keep it loose enough that you can slide your needle through, but tight enough that it stays lined up how you want it. So that's where this can take a little bit of patience. So you're just going to pull that through. It's kind of hard to see. So you're holding it down with your fingers, pulling it through. And when you've got your thread mostly through, that's when you're going to look at it and you're going to tighten it up with the point of your needle. And then when you've got that as taut as you want it, you'll just put your thread back through and pull that straight down. All right, let's look at this a little closer for the last three. All right, so we're going to create another bullion knot coming up from the back of the fabric. We'll go in the length that we want to make our knot. That's our loose thread. We come back up by our very first thread right here. It can be next to it or above it, behind it. It doesn't really matter because you're going to wrap the thread around your needle however many times it takes until the line of thread is the same length as the knot that you want to create. Then you're going to hold your finger on these threads and pull the needle with the thread through that line of loops. So I don't know if you can see that very well. I'm holding it so that we can pull this through, and once I've got most of my thread through, that's when I'm going to remove my fingers and use the point of my needle to straighten it out and tighten it up. You can kind of push these down and adjust them. So it looks however you want it to look. When you're satisfied with it, then you can put your needle through the fabric into the back of the fabric to secure it. And you've got a nice little bullion knot. All right, we'll do it again 2 more times just so that you can see it, because I know sometimes my hands get in the way. And again, like with the French knot, if you're wrapping it super tight and your needle won't move, you just gotta like ease up, let it loosen up a little bit, and then push your needle through. Hold on to those stitches so they don't unwind very gently. And then once you've got your threads most of the way through, you're gonna just use your needle to finish pulling it and hold them down so that it looks how you want it to look, and then secure that knot by putting your needle back through right at the end of it. And they're kind of loose little cool textury things. It was really difficult at first when I first learned how to do this, but I feel very comfortable with it now, and they're actually kind of fun to make. Wrap it around. Holding on to those threads so they don't come undone. Oh, I didn't get quite as much thread through as I thought. Okay. Now I'm going to tighten that back up. You can fiddle around with it quite a bit to make it look the way you want it to look, and then secure it when you're satisfied. And that is it, just like that. Super easy and fun. I've put the bullion knot in some leaves on the tea towel, and also I'm gonna teach you how to make the bullion knot into a bullion rose. So it should be pretty fun. All right, so you can see here in these leaves, I added some bullion knots. I actually put them in the leaf first and then filled in with straight stitches around it for sort of a lumpy satin stitch look, and I really like it. I think it gives it a lot of texture and makes those leaves look really fun and chunky. So whoop, hopefully that gives you a good idea of some things you can do, and then you'll see there's bullion knot here as well, which I will teach you how to do in the next episode. If you enjoyed this video, there's lots more where that came from. I have a whole channel called Embroidery 101 where I teach you what you need to know to get started, and also give you tons of tips and ideas to refresh your memory and help you to advance in your embroidery journey. So click the link below, and I hope you enjoy. Happy stitching!